Come, outside. Follow the lead at the front, huh? Pin.
So how does any of this relate to conservation? Wait, just keep listening.
We used to use at least 9 to 15 gallons of diesel per pound of meat because we used to bush hog and we used to have to do all of that stuff. And with using the animal itself in a 80-acre plot, 4 plots of 20 acres, we can rotate 200 heads of steers. So none of our pastures we bush hog, and we just go in and cut the 1 or 2 weeds that are in there and try to control the weed growth so we can maximize the use of each plot. It's 80 acres divided into 4 20-acre plots. So they go in the first plot for 7 days. You move them into the second plot for the next 7 days. So the second plot, the third, and the fourth is a total of 21 days, and then you put them back into that pasture. So the 4 plot rotation is called a 21-day rotation, but not counting the first 7 days because they were in that plot for the first 7 days. The water, and then during the drought, we might use an extra plot if we think we need it, or we substitute with bales, molasses, and citrus pulp for substitute as grass.
Minimizing their impact to the natural environment is incredibly important to them. Where most farmers would choose to clear the entire pasture, Running Doubler tries to save some of the trees. Not only is that helpful to the environment, but it's also more comfortable for the cattle.
You know, when older people before used to clear land, they would every tree has to go, you know. So we end up buying properties and having lands that we inherited where the older folks was cut down every tree, everything has to be off. And we realized that it wasn't the best way to do things. You need the trees, you need a lot of trees, your cattle need shade. You have grasses that grow almost better along with shade and under shade. The cattle itself needs shade. And one of the things that we had to come up with was how to keep our cattle comfortable. And eventually we ended up trying all sorts of different trees, all sorts of different things, until I got the idea of bamboo. And it grew up so fast, and it made a canopy. It folded over each other, and our cattle just enjoy lying down underneath it. As high as they could reach, they eat the leaves from the bamboo and even the stems and the new growth. And now we refer to them as cooling tunnels, and it's all natural.
What about water? What does Running Doubler do to manage their water usage?
In the drought, we just have to watch how much water we use and monitor as closely as we can not to waste it and put it into good use. So we have 2 wells, and we alternate on wells. When we think that one is going too low, we alternate, and we try to conserve as much as we can in the use of water.
My name is Alexandra Bedran Valdez. I'm the administrative manager at Running Doubler Brand Meats. We're standing in front of our irrigation system on the ranch. This is a piece of equipment that we invested in several years back, and it's how we're combating against climate change, really. So the length of our dry season and our wet season is changing. And so we're getting years of longer dry, which means less rain, and so our pasture grass doesn't grow the same. And so what the irrigation allows us to do is put down about 1 inch of rain in 52 hours in 100 acres. So we're able to grow the grass. Then we come in, we cut the grass, we let it dry, we make bales, and we have a bale storage area. So in our dry season, we're able to put bales of grass or bales of hay into our pastures, and so our cattle are able to continue to eat the amount of grass that they would normally eat throughout the year, so they can maintain their weight.
We have to be careful with the environmental change, and by leaving trees, by doing what we're doing, we we noticed that our wells don't go as low during the drought. We try to minimize the use of water as much as possible.
So this is all the water that's in our processing plant. We want to put back out into a leach field, but the water has to go through a process to ensure that the water is clean water, right? Because what's coming from the processing plant would be a combination of water, waste from processing, including soaps, small pieces of animal waste, right? That water comes down, gravity fed actually, through pipes first into the first pond. The first two are lined. And so what they do is naturally reduce the nitrate levels in the water. So it naturally takes out all of the waste and gives you cleaner water at the end.
The water on top is that flows into the second pond, which then settles again and flows into a third pond, which helps for it to start to saturate itself into the ground and go back through the whole ground system and sand and cleans itself and goes back into our groundwater, which makes it very clean. Ponds naturally reduces the nitrate and nitrite levels in the water. It's one of the best way to filter water before you have it go back into the groundwater system.